I came here to save you!
Fortress is taken. It is over.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
You're my only hope.
We shall fight on the beaches!
There will be days when we lose faith.
We band of brothers.
But take heart. Look around. You're not in this fight alone.
I bid you stand! Men of the West!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Curia Regis.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. For those of you out there, we're really happy to be here. We're glad to be back. My name is Dan. I'm joined by my co-host, Caleb.
What's up? Now, as many people who are already in the chat know, we are very big fans of a lot of literature, a lot of English folklore, things like that. And before we start kind of going on for the day, we want to give everyone an explanation of what Curia Regis is. Now, during the days of Alfred the Great and his predecessor and his sons, the king was advised by a body called the Witan. And there's kind of back and forth on whether or not it was actually called the Witan or if Witan was just a word given. But after 1066, when the Normans invaded and conquered England, they created the Curia Regis, which is Latin for Royal Council. As the King's Advisors, we figured that's what the name of our hopeful bi-weekly, and hopefully eventually weekly show should be called. So having said that, I'd like to thank the Great Pilgrim, the Gatekeeper's Daimyo, and Star Wars Dog for being here. I think there's a couple other people, but they are not in chat. So whoever you are out there, thank you so much. And I think that's where we are now. Danny, how anything you guys say to the good people?
Oh, Caleb, I couldn't have asked for a better introduction to the show like that. And for all those out there, Caleb, yourself included, you don't have to feel like it's an odd thing to say. There's a word for people who like English history. It's called an Anglophile. And I know it sounds a little creepier than it is. But what's up, everybody in the chat? Star Wars, Daimyo, Pilgrim, nice to see you guys. And and so you don't have to, it's awesome. I love being an Anglophile. I love studying all different parts of history. And the best part is Caleb and I disagree about so much of it that it makes it really good conversation because
we do.
No, not a lot of it, but I feel like if we really got down to a lot. I'm a Napoleon fan, and I know that.
Oh, right,
that's hard to swallow.
You're on the side of the French in the 100 Years' War, aren't you?
And the 100 Years' War is a compelling story of a struggle of a kingdom that eventually goes sour. And it's all French history is compelling too, man. But what is one without the other? They're rivals.
So that kind of leads me. I'm very happy you said it just like that, because that kind of, thank you, dog. That kind of leads me to my next point, and that there is very little so great and so important to the building of a love for medieval stories and literature and myths as the story of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. And I would argue that without that myth and without that story, we don't get things like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yes.
And a lot of that King Arthur mythology can be traced back to Norse mythology, which is super compelling stuff. And one day we should do a whole dissection on the show. But the Volsung saga is like an oral tradition passed down for hundreds of years in the Scandinavian nations from their Viking conquests. And this story entails magical dragons with magical swords passed down from father to son, betrayal, murder, unfortunately a little bit of incest along the way, but actually daring escapes and revenge and kingdoms being conquered. And it's a huge story that you can't unsee some of the similarities between where Tolkien got some of his inspiration from, because the Scandinavian culture is so heavily influenced on the English Isle there. So,
oh, definitely.
it's.
But yeah, so we're here to talk about stuff going on in the news, entertainment, things like that. And one of the things we want to hit on, which is a rather big thing, is the writer's strike. Now, being attorneys, there's stuff that we understand about how strikes work and things like that I think the average person doesn't. But that's actually not the big news at this moment. So, as we all know, the Writers Guild of America struck. What was it? I think we're on like day 15 now. So they would have struck just over 2 weeks ago.
It sure seems like it.
Last week, SAG voted to strike, which is a very big deal, because as far as I can remember, SAG has only ever struck once. And in that strike, I believe it lasted about an hour. Well, the big news is that... Hang on. I pressed the wrong button. Share screen. The Directors Guild has started the process of striking. So they send out an email to their members last night, I believe, that basically says, shall we strike? And that's big, because that leaves one guild, one of the major guilds left to strike. And it's the Craftsman Guild. I forget their little abbreviation. But that's major. You've got IATSE, I think, is the last one. But you've got the WGA, you got the writers, the actors, and the directors striking. So,
Caleb, can I intercut with one question?
Yes.
How much has your life been affected by all of this news?
So that's the thing. Most of our lives won't be affected in the current time with any of this. But, what's the one thing you're looking forward to in the next year and a half? Come on.
I guess House of the Dragon, yeah.
House of the Dragon Season 2. Well,
yeah, Duncan Egg. I'm more excited for that, I think.
When it was only the writers striking, that was fine, because those scripts are done. Now, as some of us have discussed in other places, if what the writer striking meant was they could go ahead and film, but as we all know, the thing that's written at the beginning of filming is not always the thing that's done at the end. But in order to ad-lib something, in order to change anything, you have to have writers. So having a strike meant they can't change anything on those scripts. Okay, well, they're probably pretty good scripts. But without a writer on set to add certain things, we wouldn't have that scene in Who is King in House of the Dragon?
It's Viserys the First.
Viserys.
Busy T, as the kids call him.
We wouldn't have had the scene in Viserys where Viserys' crown drops and Daemon picks it up and says, "Let's go."
Bad scene to use as an example, though. Bad scene, because that was ad-libbed, so that would have been well past the writing crew.
So because it was ad-libbed, it then had to be added into the script after they filmed. But you can't ad-lib without the writer to add it into the script, because that has to be in the
that's
script
just red tape. That's just red
No,
tape.
it's true. It's
You're
red
talking
tape.
about inserting lines into a Word document now. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree.
If anything,
but
you've bolstered the point that
a writer has to be the one to do that. So with WGA striking, there was no one on set to do that.
Oh,
now,
God, yeah. Red tape, dude.
Yes. So WGA striking doesn't really affect House of the Dragon filming. But then SAG struck. Okay, well, they're allowed to strike for certain things. Are they allowed to force Matt Smith off the set of House of the Dragon season 2? I don't know. I don't remember the rules about who they could force off where. But now we have the Directors Guild striking. So all of these two guilds together striking have now they're shelved. House of the Dragon season 2 is shelved. They can't move on.
Dude, these people should write their congressperson. Like, you could actually affect. No, seriously, make it like in California, like you have to report the streaming numbers. You know, that way they understand what their value is. Like, that's what the problem is. These people are doing all this work and they're like getting nowhere with it. Like, it's like Willow. It's like these people worked for. I'm not saying it was good, the farthest thing from it, but like people worked. You know what I mean? Like, there were jobs.
Are you sure?
Because of that. Oh, come on. There was at least somebody was at least putting grass under the feet of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Pilgrim, yes. Assuming Milford Clark, how do you say her name?
Milfred.
Okay. Assuming Clark and everyone else are members of SAG, which they have to be credited. Yes, ROP is delayed.
Well, I'm going to circle back to my point earlier in that, like, there is so more like not my point, my question from earlier, in that my life hasn't been affected by it at all. Like, there's so much content that shout out Star Wars Dog. That's hilarious. I'm talking about California where they do anything. What I'm saying is there's so much content out there now, like from YouTube to Twitch to all the streaming things are still out there. It's not like the streaming services are on pause. That would probably get America's attention if Netflix was like, hey, we're turning off content in solidarity with the writers. That'd be crazy. You know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying is that there seems like such a depth of history and literature and science to like catch up on and go deep with and explore the world with. Like, I mean, sometimes I run around and I go on different YouTube channels. I'm like, holy crap, this is a whole different part of the world that I never really even thought about. Like, some of these guys out there that are just go around the world touring houses. Like, that's what they do. They go around and they film houses on YouTube. And I mean, not
or
like in a
they
sketchy
film
way.
themselves breaking and entering into a house on TikTok.
Oh, what a good transition. What a crazy story, dude. That I had to turn it off. I was getting anxiety from the person being in the house. I was like, oh my God. That is
You were talking about
absolute-
craziness, and then he filmed himself walking through a library tearing up books.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I will say the TikTok stuff is getting crazy. These kids, like, they just go around and they like prank strangers and it's just ask them or like sneezing on them or something. It's like so cringy. And I can't help but like feel like it just makes its way into my daily life sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's just on.
So Daimyo makes a point here, and I don't think I explained what I was saying well enough. So using the example of Matt Smith's improvisation. Yes, actors are allowed to improvise. We saw it on in Attack of the Clones a lot because a lot of the lines that Ewan McGregor said were not the written lines. But those lines still have to be updated in the script that night after they're said, if those are the taken lines.
Yes, I agree with Caleb.
And be updated without the writer to update them, because the writer is the one that contractually has to go into the computer and change and type in Viserys's crown falls. Daemon picks it up and puts it on his head and says, "Let's go, brother."
Yes, I agree.
And
And
without the writers to do that, the actors and the director cannot allow for improvisation. They have to do what's on that script.
Yeah, I agree, and I think to his larger point, I agree with Gate. I agree with Daimyo. Like my larger point was
Daimyo.
Daimyo. I agree that is what needs to happen, and I agree with Caleb on the technical level of like legally, that's what the writer has to do is upload the new file. I was just joking around and saying, you know, Caleb, that's not the ideal scene. Another scene I think would be good to supplement that would be like them making the girls friends when they're younger. I was like, oh, that's good, and to their credit, you know what I mean. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the larger point is that I will be sad when House of Dragon doesn't come back out. But if that leads to one more grain of rice tipping in the scale of George R. R. Martin finishing wins. I mean,
we've brought it up. We've brought it up. It's time to do it.
Yeah, I've got it.
I got it right here. What is this? Okay, there we go. Share this tab. It has been 4,329 days since A Dance with Dragons was published. That's 11 years, 10 months, and 4 days. So, what you doing, George? You know that scene in you probably don't. So, there's that Batman TV show. It's I actually think it's the Harley Quinn TV show. Where Joker captures Batman. And let's see. Here it is. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, and then let me get to the actual point, so that we don't get... Alright, so... Harley Quinn's no longer his teammate, his henchman. And he's with the... what's his name? What's the bad guy from Batman Begins? Scarecrow, thank you.
Let's find out.
Here we go. Finds out Bruce Wayne.
Hell, are you that? And I want just some boring.
All right, so this is the thing. This is what's going to happen. Yes, Pilgrim. This is what I'm going to do with George R. R. Martin.
Rich asshole with parental issues.
That's really reductive.
Thanks for ruining the fun.
I thought it might be the case read the situation. Not even that was fun.
Wayne Tech promised an electric car by this year. I put a deposit down. Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Yep. Where's my goddamn copy of Winds of Winter, George?
Unfortunately, I haven't put a deposit down now, though I would. And you know what's really shitty is, like, I get it sometimes, but, like, some fans are like, he doesn't owe us anything. And I'm like, you can't set up
That is a great
story.
Point. So, let me ask you something. Does the creator of something who has not finished it owe his fans or her fans the end of the story?
Yes. And I'll give you two examples. George Lucas didn't owe anybody the prequels. He didn't owe anybody episode 5 either. But he chose to continue the story because people didn't know. It was just called Star Wars.
Yep, correct.
You know what I mean? And then it grew into an epic saga, which is awesome. And it grew into one of the most successful things ever made for the end of time, and it's great. And not anymore. And the thing is George R. R. Martin has set up 7 books. Like, that's like A Song of Ice and Fire is 7 books. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think anybody, or I would say nearly 90% of people would have started it if they had known that it wasn't actually going to have a conclusion. Would you disagree?
No, I think I agree. I don't think I would have read the books. I probably still would have watched the show, but I would not have read the books.
I probably would have still watched the show. If he was like, hey, I'm actually done after 5, like, sorry, I gave up. Like, oh, okay, well, then I guess the show's it. And then that's, I probably would have never read the books because 5 had already been out by the time I had started. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
so
I guess
the
I'll just
fifth
catch
book
up.
was released, I think
2011,
it was like near the end of the first season of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone was hyped. Everyone was like, oh, new book's out. Like, all the fans were excited. And they were like, I'm going to watch season 2. And everyone started watching it. And it was good. And season 2 was dope. Battle of Blackwater is some of the best episodes. And tension and cinematography. Like, some of that stuff was great.
There's a brave minute at our door. Let's go kill him.
I will not be a page in somebody else's history book. Love that
Where's
line,
that one
dude.
from?
That's Stannis, dude.
Oh, man, you love Stannis.
Nah, dude, he's the one true king, man. And until it's written down, he's never burn his daughter.
Finished it. Great Pilgrim has asked, why hasn't he finished it? So without being extremely sarcastic, Dan, can you answer our friend here?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can do it, and we can move on to the next topic because it really could be a whole video. But to sum it up, Pilgrim, great question. It's in my opinion, there's 2 answers. So the first is that he's struggling to wrap up 1 or 2 of the serious plot lines because they're in tight situations. Like one of them is where one of the main characters is in a faraway city called Marine, and it's called the Miranese Knot, and that is a whole convoluted mess of getting characters in certain spots, and that's what's been giving him trouble. But my personal opinion is that it's actually too large of a story. He's written more than he can actually incorporate into the story, and actually can't figure out how the pieces come together, and really has kind of played too far in the sandbox. There's no actual point to it. It's just, oh, I've made all this stuff up. And it's like, okay, well, what does it all mean? It's like, oh, well, why do you care? And it's like, oh, what? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Like, I thought I was, pardon me. I'll move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? So I hope that answered your question, Pilgrim. And if it was too broad, then I can certainly specify if the host allows.
Honestly, I was really hoping for a much funnier answer.
Oh, well, I mean, the funny answer is that he doesn't fucking care. I mean, he had this famous, apparently, it's hearsay, it couldn't enter into court of law, but allegedly there's a quote of him in the 90s saying that if I were a really cynical man, I would write a swords and sorcery kind of book and promise a whole bunch of other books and just never finish it and then die.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, it's kind of exactly what he's done. And, that's the funny answer is he doesn't have to, and he's still getting work. So everyone can, jog on,
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you. This might have been the thing I wanted to get your live reaction on, but I don't think it was. And unfortunately, I can't remember what that thing was. So I'm gonna be stuck with this. It's official. D23 and Marvel will be holding a real-life event inspired by the X-Men's Hellfire Gala from the comics at 2023 San Diego Comic-Con. Now, I don't know if you are aware of what the Hellfire Club is.
I feel like I'm not going to like it.
So, the Hellfire Club, and I'm on the wiki here. I want to make sure I'm on the comics wiki and not the show's movie. Yes, it would appear that I am. Okay, let me share this tab instead. So, the Hellfire Club is an antagonistic faction in Marvel Comics, specifically to the X-Men, which is why this is kind of a big thing. It's a centuries-old organization with roots in Britain during the 18th century. That's 1700s for Star Wars dog. He's a little slow. Its its members were infamous ranks who used their connections within the club to further boost their social standing, etc., etc. Now, the reason this is kind of a big deal is did you ever have the Marvel encyclopedia as a kid?
No, I didn't.
So I did. And I used to spend hours just perusing the book, reading all about it. And one of the things that I noticed, a great example of the Hellfire Club is actually the antagonists in the First Class movie. Kevin Bacon's organization, that was the Hellfire Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Emma Frost is always basically a member of the Hellfire Club. And any time I have seen pictures of the Hellfire Club, it has not been a very, let's call it, family friendly look. They're always it looks like what you would expect a adult version of Epstein's Island to look like. Not
that all checks out.
Not criminal, like not the P word, but a bunch of prostitutes, things like it. It looks like Sodom and Gomorrah almost, and to have that at San Diego Comic-Con, more sexualizing of comic book characters and things like that. What do you think about this, Danny?
Yeah, well, it's all, they don't need the older generations. They're making new fans. You know what I mean? If they can weight up this crew, they'll get kids that were influenced in some of this stuff, and they think that they're going to spend money, realizing that there ain't no economy out there for people to make money.
They don't have money.
Yeah, nobody's got expendable money right now. This is
one of the things that pisses me off about this. And I get into this with a couple other people in other places. But we've basically been told by Disney doesn't care about people our age and above. They want to make stuff for people who are currently 12 years old. Okay.
And younger.
So you are going to wait. Well,
and they have for years, for many years, they've made stuff for people as young as you can put them in front of the TV. I mean, some of my earliest memories were Disney movies.
Yes, but the problem is they're not making the next Disney princess movie. They're making Star Wars and Marvel, things that the people who are, 30 and up, who have disposable income and would love to drop, $500 on a hot toy, they don't care about us.
No.
So
it's funny you say that.
And they make
as a princess movie is coming out soon. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm saying you say that as a princess movie is coming out soon. Like Little Mermaid is coming out.
I'm not really sure I would call that a princess movie. From some of the promotional material, it looks more like a trying to think of a way to say this without getting our channel canned. Non-consensual movie. There isn't a lot of Pilgrim, I'm going to beat you. Star Wars was never made for kids.
No, I mean, some stuff was made for kids. I mean, not all of Star Wars is for kids. I mean, for God's sakes, this is such an annoying argument, and I know he's being facetious.
Yeah, he is. He's just trolling.
Yeah, of course he is, because he's cool. But it's like such a ridiculous argument because half of the name is Wars. Like, I mean, even on its like per se, it's not just for children. Like, Wars is like grim and dark and something that's been entwined with our history and not something that should be taken like lightly and something that should be avoided, but something that has come to, things have come to blows. like that's just our history. And so to act like, oh, it's Space Wizards for kids, it's like, well, go make that show. Go make a different show about Space Wizards for kids. I'd be fine with that. Just don't, you don't have to come near this stuff.
Hey, have you ever seen, to completely change the topic real quick, have you ever seen a physical representation of Stockholm Syndrome?
Justin, It's Always Sunny.
I was thinking of Disparew's new Save Willow campaign.
Oh, jeez. That is so funny. That is so funny that he is like saved Willow. That is so funny. What a clever guy. Because it's like, it works for him on two fronts. Like on the first front, like what if it works? On the second front, it's hilarious that he's the one calling for it to be revived. And there's no other significant movements.
I think it's glorious.
Oh, that's hilarious. He could just own all that, like all that stuff. Like he can make like a Revive Willow Twitter. You know what I mean? Like that would be
awesome.
Funny. Yeah, like a whole hashtag series and stuff like that. Wagon Wheel would be trending because of it, because of that damn wagon wheel that Shad hated in it.
So, I'm scrolling through Twitter and I just saw this. So this was on the news yesterday. Miles Morales unlocks new Spider-Man powers with energy sword upgrade. Now, I don't know what it is with Marvel and DC, but Marvel and DC tend to be unable to create a black superhero who doesn't have energy powers. Think about it. Think about all the black superheroes. They're all energy-powered superheroes.
Just Falcon is not.
No, okay. Falcon I think is one of the lone examples. But
yeah, and his lone example is that he can't get one.
Well, technically, Falcon's not even a superhero.
Oh, come on. You can't. Don't. That was hilarious, dude. That was hilarious.
Wait, what did you say?
You said his lone issue, and I said his lone issue is that he can't get.
Oh my God, that's how I forgot about that.
Oh, now it's all on. Now you're gonna have to listen to this whole thing again.
I completely forgot that the first like 4 episodes of that show are about him not being able to get that loan.
Not even First Wakanda Bank gives him a loan.
Oh my gosh.
None of them. They're all like, hey, sorry, we just, we know you were there. We just don't like you. And you're the only one we don't like. Everybody else is good. Everybody else gets funding for their fun. But yeah, I don't know, man. The energy power stuff is it's because of the green screen. Like once they realized people were, they liked Wanda Maximoff whatever.
This is actually a DC thing. It's not black superheroes overall, but it's mostly a DC thing. So you've got Black Lightning, Static, Thunderfall, and Black Vulcan. That's, I think, if I can count correctly, that's 5 black superheroes who are all electrical powers. And it's kind of the similar thing as how the majority of the black characters in a lot of DC stuff lately, they're all, I won't say all, they are about 99% legacy characters who are redheads.
Are you serious?
Think about it. Wally West in that show is a redhead. Here, there's actually a meme of it. Red. Here we go. Here's the meme. Let me.
Daimyo, I have no idea what Spider-Man would need a sword for. I mean, that to me seems like why give that Pacific Rim power to Spider-Man doesn't make any sense to me, but it's something to zhuzh it up. The Green Goblin didn't see it coming, and he's got a sword now, and this makes it's like the Darksaber of Spider-Man. Like, he's the real Spider-Man now. Peter Parker didn't have the sword power because he wasn't good enough. See, guys, this is the real Spider-Man now. We can all rest easy knowing that we were right and the past was wrong. They were dumb idiots for thinking that he was real. Oh my God, this list is scary.
We got Wally West here, Josie and the Pussycats here, who's actually a DC comic thing. Mary Jane. Daphne, thank you. I almost want to say Velma. Electro, I forget what his actual name is. Let's see. Heimdall. Jeez, I feel terrible. I don't remember. Commissioner Gordon. Batgirl. Starfire's on here somewhere.
Triss. Arpel O'Neil.
Where's Starfire?
Batgirl.
And of course, Ariel.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forget who this is. Bottom right-hand corner. If anyone in the chat can help me.
I don't know, but is that fudging Mary Poppins up there?
Where?
They even changed to Lego. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. Okay. There's Starfire, right there.
That is really funny, though, dude. That's kind of scary, actually, to see how many get replaced and you don't even know about it. The Darksaber of New York.
Wow, that's offensive, Daimia. Okay. Oh, you know what? They have. Here we go. Let me do this again because they actually have names under them. But I was looking on the Streamlabs screen. Okay, so here's Lana Lang, Ripcord, Heimdall, Electro, Jimmy Olsen, Cecil Horton, Annie, Iris West, Wally West, Miss Martian, Josie McCoy, Lego Batgirl, Daphne Blake, Isaac from Castlevania, Mary Jane, Artemis of Bana, Fire Fist, April O'Neil, Starfire, Ambrose Spellman, Darling from Lady and the Tramp. Wait, did they make a live action Lady and the Tramp?
Years ago, like in the 90s, right? Didn't they do all those?
A live action?
They do it all the time. This is not the first wave of Disney live action movies. Hold on, let me look it up. Live action.
Oh my God!
film.
Yeah, they did.
It's 2019
one.
Ew.
Oh my gosh.
Ew, how did this come out? Nobody even knew.
Oh my gosh. This must have been
a flop.
2019. It cost $60 million to make this.
That's insane.
Oh my God. Okay. Finishing this off real quick. Jim Gordon, Ravonna Kinslayer, Anita Darling, Triss Marigold, Barbara Gordon, Cyclone, Ariel, and Carrie Kelly. Yep. Yeah, Disney has a problem. Disney doesn't know how to make anything original. Now, okay, here's a question. Okay, here's a legal question for you, Danny. I was reading something a while back that suggested the reason Disney is doing all these live action remakes is to hold on to the copyrights of their animated stuff from like the 60s and forward. And I know you don't do intellectual property law, but it's my understanding that once you have the copyright, you don't have to do anything, right?
You don't have to do anything for some time. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like 75 years or something, yeah. And then you only have to do one thing and it renews it. So that's like why companies do stuff.
Well,
Apparently
you have to change it. There's a specific word, and it's killing me that I don't remember it. But you have to it has to be a significant change. You can't just. So for example, technically we have copyrights on these two logos here and the main logo because I made it. We have what's called a compilation copyright because obviously we don't have a copyright on each of the little images, but by compiling them and adding and changing and moving things around, you have a copyright on the entirety of the picture. Now, in 75 years, well, actually, it's 75 years after the death of the author. So, in hopefully 28, let's say, and hopefully 125 years, when the copyright for these are gone, technically all my estate would have to do is add a significant change to make it a new image, to add something to it.
Yeah, put like a flat bill hat on it and make it for the modern audience.
Yeah, or make it a hologram or something.
It's a more realistic answer, jerk.
Star Wars Dog says their best live-action adaptation is Maleficent. I never saw it, actually.
It was all right.
Yeah, but I was talking to a buddy of mine about this actually today, and he said their best was Lion King.
Dude, Lion King was bad. There's a YouTube channel I should show you. It's called Your Movie Sucks, and he does a whole breakdown. He's busy. He's a busy guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's like a really good musician, so he can break down the score.
Hang on. Okay, it's my time to shine. Gray Pilgrim asks, what is the difference between a copyright and a trademark? Okay, so copyrights are legal protection to something that you produce, such as basically forms of art, writings, music, lyrics, computer programming,
as
photographs.
Caleb's friend, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. None of this is legal advice. This is all general, just
exactly. Yes.
Lecturing, and none of it's for it's all just general stuff. So everyone should seek an attorney in their area with license in their jurisdiction. So go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, and that is governed by statute, which is called the Copyright Act of 1976. Which gets updated every now and then, but the overalling statute is called the Copyright Act of 1976, and judge-made law, which is called precedent. Trademark is for marks. It is governed by the Lanham Act, and I actually am going to open. No, I'm not. I have to go to my email real quick. So, the Lanham Act is... Hang on, here we go. So, trademark protects a business or an organization or something from a third party being able to use their mark. So, for instance, if I go to the USPTO, which is the United States United States Patent Trademark Office, and get a trademark on these three logos, the channel logo and then our each logo. I can, if someone decides to take my logo and use it to make money, I can sue them to stop them from doing that. And trademark law is grounded in the Lanham Act. It provides a seller or producer with exclusive right to register a trademark and keep their competition from being able to use that mark. And that's 15 USC section 1052 and section 11141. No, Ronnie, I did not I did not register our logos with the USPTO. I figured if that ever needs to become a thing, I'll do that later. They are copyrighted though, so there. Any other questions, Pilgrim? Oh, right, we're on a delay. I always forget about that. Like when I'm live streaming on a video game and I look over and I answer a question, and then I sit there for a second, like, why aren't they? Oh, right, we're on like a 45-second delay.
Nice, dude. All right, cool. Got your IP out of the way.
Yeah, dude, Pilgrim, you got no idea how excited that question made me. If you want to learn a little bit more about trademark, we actually have a video that I put out at near the end of last year about Mariah Carey trying to trademark certain Christmas-themed phrases, and I go into a little more depth about what trademark is in that. Let's see. Okay. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the other thing I really wanted to talk about was. Well, I get, what we could talk about? What do you think about Disney closing down the Galactic Star Cruiser?
Oh, jeez. I mean, it was such a series of bad ideas. I mean, like the first, it's like, okay, maybe like you run parks. Okay, let's see it. Go ahead, let's do it. Do it. And then they did it, and it was like all the worst ideas. Yeah, it was like, oh, we'll do it in the sequel era. It's like, okay, nobody cares. We want you to get rid of that. We want you to get rid of that and just have a new episode 7. Like I'm tired. It's like they keep like they're like, no, you'll like it eventually. We'll make it make sense. Like we'll make episode 9 make sense through Disney Plus. And it's like, no, I don't care if you do make it make sense. It was bad then. It's bad now. And it's like, it's just I just want to go back to what Star Wars was. Let's let Luke fix the empire, like fix the galaxy, and whatever. It's a ship sail. They're gonna make Rey the new Luke from the extended universe and have her be the best and restore the Jedi temple and stuff like that. But anyway, it's good. I'm glad it closed. I hate for the jobs, you know me, but at the same time, I have no sympathy. Like everyone else is. Everyone else has got to work too, and it doesn't mean they're going to go there and they don't have to spend their money on this stuff. It's like if you don't make good food at a restaurant, people don't have to come eat your bad food.
Yep. Now, I do want to inform you of a project that I am interested in. I think there's a lot of possibilities in it, and I know some people involved in it. And it is called After the Sequels. And okay. Nope, that's video file. That's not what I want. I do want to get your reaction to this.
I've seen this before. The prophecy continues.
In this generation's chosen one?
Two that are one.
So, what this is a trilogy of fan-made movies that are hoping to fix a lot of the issues with the sequels by going forward and not necessarily retconning, but repairing things. So, using more story to fix and add more detail to continue the story almost. And I'm actually relatively excited about it. Now, I know anytime someone says sequels, you and a large majority of the Star Wars fan base goes, "Ugh!" And I'm one of them. But I think this got a shot. And so I'm curious what, based off of that 46 seconds, you think.
I think it was well animated. I think it's cool that it was so. It's beautiful. Animation's beautiful. I'm glad somebody spent time in it, and I think it's nice that people want to fix it so people like Star Wars again. I don't think that it's such a big deal that I just don't like Rey. I don't really like, the whole world. I don't like that the Republic fell and the Empire rose again. Mm-hmm. So that's just me. Like, I'd rather it just ends at 6. They win.
Yeah, no,
the Republic is back for all time, and it was all worth it. It's not just endless war, because eventually, if it's just endless war, then nobody's good, and it's just stupid, and we should just stop.
Which is then there's a lot of what they're saying now.
Yeah, it's like, it's actually just a timeless war. It's like, actually, that's really dark. That's like the evilest thing I've ever heard.
Well, there is no good side. Yeah,
that's worse than Warhammer. At least Warhammer has like real magic. Like, it's like, no, their prayers work in Warhammer.
Yeah. So this company, organization, I don't know really how to describe it. Today's Tuesday, right? So Thursday, on the real Star Wars Day, they will be, in case you didn't know, that's the day that A New Hope came out. They will be having a live panel with a bunch of the character voice artists discussing it and going over it. And we are going to do something about it. We're not going to do a live stream like reacting to it. Sorry, hang on. We're not going to do a live stream reacting to it, but we will do a video about it, because their stream should give us a lot more context to it, provide a little more information, and then in September their actual trailer is coming out. And I think I can say this. I've talked to 2 people involved, and I don't know what that means, Star Wars dog, but that's creepy. I've talked to 2 people involved in this, and both are huge, real Star Wars fans, and are very excited about what this could be. And when I say real Star Wars fans, I mean they didn't become Star Wars fans in 2017. They've been Star Wars fans since, birth, almost.
Those were good days.
Oh,
man, Star Wars used to be fun.
I get it, dog. I get it now. Wow, sorry, I'm a little slow today. Dog is saying that he's in the same boat as Gray Pilgrim. Pilgrim says, no interest for me. I know lots of good people worked on it, but they've lost me. And I get that. Look, I mean, after season 3 of Mandalorian, which a lot of people saw as basically the last hope, the last shot of maintaining any sort of fan base. After that, how can anyone sit there and think it's got any good future? And I agree. I have very little hope for Ahsoka. I disagree with a lot of people that say that they're starting to think the reason the first 2 seasons are good are because of Filoni, because Filoni wasn't there for the 3rd season, and that's the only main difference. I disagree with a lot of people there. I think it's just crap now, and it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise with a built-in fan base that they decided to just completely ignore. At least Amazon kept, at least Amazon put things in that travesty that we actually wanted to see.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I didn't want to see any of that stuff.
Well, no, I mean, what is Celebrimbor's city called?
Austin Ethel.
Yeah, so that kind of thing.
No, they didn't even name it. Like, I didn't want to see Linden. That's a region. Like, don't give me that crap.
Yeah.
Or a region. Like, that's not a... Like, people thought it was the city. It's like, oh, okay. It's just so... Anyway, it's... Just do it right. Why not? Everybody freaking broke out books to watch Game of Thrones. Like, people felt out of the loop. Like, wait, what city is that? It's like, bro, it's Old Town. Like, and it's like, oh, crap, I don't know a lot about this. It's like, I should figure it out before I ask questions about it. And then it's like, we could do that with Lord of the Rings. Like, oh, dude, it's capital city of Celebrimbor. Like, it's like, oh, that'd be cool. Figure that out. What happened there?
Well, and that's one of the big differences between how Amazon is choosing to display this story and how HBO is choosing to display theirs. HBO is driving fans to the books so that they can learn about it. Amazon is driving fans to the books so they can read the real story.
It sure seems like it, man. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dead air. What are we talking about? We should talk about I mean, you know me, I can start talking about Game of Thrones, but
well, actually, I do have a question for you. Before we delve back into making everything about Game of Thrones, have y'all, because I know your fiance is a huge Harry Potter fan, as are you, but she's just a bigger one.
Yeah.
Have y'all gotten Hogwarts Legacy yet?
No, I don't know what happened, dude. We have been so busy this last month. I don't know what. It was like I didn't do anything all winter, and then all of a sudden, all my weekends have just been jammed. So we haven't gotten it yet. And now Tears of the Kingdom is out, so I'm just over here.
Yeah. So I was also going to ask, Tears of the Kingdom. Have you been playing that?
I wish I had been, man. I'm just like out of time. Like I should be.
I don't have a Switch, so I have not been playing it. But I want to look at some numbers real quick. So, Nintendo announced, like 2 or 3 days ago. Nintendo announced 2 or 3 days ago that Tears of the Kingdom. Let me pull up the thing real quick. Tears of Kingdom. Let's see. Here we go. Tears of the Kingdom sold 10 million copies globally in its first 3 days.
Oh my god, dude!
It is the fastest and best-selling game of 2023, and it is the I believe now. I'm just so this is an assumption. I can't. I should have pulled this stuff up earlier, but my assumption is that Tears of the Kingdom is the best-selling game of about the last decade.
I gotta get it, man. That's all there is to it because I almost 100% the first one. I just need to do, I just need to pull a trigger. I need to get out through this couple of weeks here where I'm just slammed. I need to get to July, honestly, because then I don't have anything going on. I'm just gonna come home and play until my eyes bleed. Isn't that weird? I have to think of my gaming in terms of like months.
Oh yeah, well, especially when you consider, Star Wars Dog and I spent 7.5 hours live streaming Sea of Thieves last night. And yeah, so Pilgrim, that's kind of where we're going with this. So hang on, I don't know how to brand. There we go. So you've got in the last, it's May, 3 months. Yeah, so in the last 3 months, we've gone from Hogwarts Legacy to Jedi Survivor to Tears of the Kingdom. Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game for a long time. Broke the single-player streaming record on Twitch, and Warner made. Oh, Valiant and Renegade did a whole thing about it. Whoop. Ooh, sorry, I was on the wrong page when I started typing. On. Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy. So Warner did their earnings call on May 1st, which was the day that Hogwarts Legacy dropped for the previous generation of consoles. And they announced that on the new gen consoles alone and PC, Hogwarts Legacy had made over $1 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So we've gone from that success and is now launching more TV shows. It's gonna, so beyond just the Harry Potter remake they're doing in TV show form, they're also doing a Hogwarts Legacy TV show, and the what's the sport called? Quidditch. And the Quidditch game is coming out, I think, at the end of the year. And they've announced they're going to do more Hogwarts Legacy games.
Yeah, so, I heard the Quidditch wasn't very good in it. Or I heard the flying was not top notch.
Well, I liked it. I liked it fine.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Good.
I mean, so there's some there's some flying challenges, and those are difficult, but they're fine. I really enjoyed it. It's also nice to fly on a hippogriff.
Oh, cool. Dude, I told Sydney to get it, and she's so busy, man. It's like, when are we gonna play these two giant games on our one Switch? So maybe I should just get another one.
Well, so I thought you had a PS4.
I do. Oh, I guess the PS4 version's out now. At first, we were like, we had to get the.
Well, because the Hogwarts Legacy version for Switch isn't out until like September. And Pilgrim just hit the nail on the head. Survivor should have broken just as many records. Should have been just as big a thing. Should have gotten Respawn $1 billion. Should have sold 15 million copies in 3 days. But no, because not only did they take an extra 8 weeks, but they provided an unfinished game. A game that brought in topics that the majority of the fans didn't give a shit about. And yeah, broken game, semi crap story. Honestly, the best part of the story was the third act. If they had made the entire game the third act, it would have been a 8 out of 10 for me. Probably 8.5. Fallen Order is a 9 out of 10. I think Fallen Order is one of the best Star Wars games ever made. Thoughts?
Oh damn. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I just don't. I didn't hear very good things about Survivor. Like, I heard it was cool. Like, there was a lot of good fighting and a lot of good like dialogue and scenes and stuff like that. But I heard that it was a lot of just kind of slashing against monsters, and lightsabers kind of weren't as powerful as you kind of would hope. Like, you're just kind of hitting a monster over and over again. It's not like chopping through it like you want.
The problem that I have with people complaining about, why aren't we cutting through things? Okay, well, you can't do that in a video game because then there's no such thing as a boss. If I can just slice through someone's arm, then you can't have tiered enemies. So it makes sense that there are enemies you can't just slice through on one hit. But there are a couple there's several base units of every single type of enemy that you can just one hit. And that's not to mention the greatest Imperial soldier ever, Rick the Door Technician.
Rick the Door Technician, rip Rick.
Yep. Did you watch our short on it?
Oh yeah. Like, I think I left it on loop at one point.
Don't say that.
No. Like on purpose, like, because it was funny. Not in a bad way, but yeah, I don't know. It's been tough for me to play video games. I almost feel like Gary, where I'm like, I just don't play video games right now, which is weird. But
well, yeah,
I've been re-listening to, like I said, the Dunk and Egg Night of the Seven Kingdoms novellas with my fiance. I was about to get Dune, and then we saw the trailer for Dune 2, and we were like, all right, let's not read a 60-year-old book for spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. And then other than that, just been working and some traveling a little bit. Jimmy Buffett got canceled, by the way, which sucks.
It? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. I ended up getting a little sick anyway over the weekend, but yeah. So we're still going to try to go to the next showing, but it stunk. It was so clutch at the time, but we were hyped for that. And see, I mean, I read some crazy Game of Thrones series or theories over the weekend, but I don't know if you want to hear any of them.
Well, so speaking on that real quick, we are well, first off, once again, I do want to thank the Sundowners Club for the really awesome trading cards, box trading cards that they sent us. The unboxing video is up if you want to watch. It's really cool. Dan, I got a couple cards I'm going to give you, and I've still got your book here.
Oh yeah. We got to go see another. What was the name of that company that put that event on?
What event?
Come on, the Lord of the Rings event. It was some fandom something fan.
Oh, it's Regal. It's Regal's fan thing.
Yeah, but what is that called?
Fathom.
Fathom events. That's what it was. Another Fathom event would be fun. Although I'm trying to think of it, I guess Indiana Jones is coming out. Oh, I heard. I heard Furious 10 was good. I guess, or Fast 10, or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah. I need to watch Shrinker's thing about it because I like what he said about that. Put your brain in neutral and just enjoy. And for a bit, I kind of agree with him. There comes a day where sometimes you don't need to overthink things. Just watch the movie. Just watch the show and just have fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where I can do that with, and you don't have to think about it because, they are relying on you to not think about it. But at the end of the day, they really aren't because it's just for fun. Like, you're in a world where all these people can drive cars so well that they're doing all these things. Like, okay, cool. Like after that, like the cars still fall. You know, like okay, they've got rockets on them, they're flying now. It's like, oh, okay, that they tried. They didn't just like make the car fly out of nowhere. So it's easy to turn your brain off of those movies, especially because it's just a bunch of hot people in good looking locations driving nice cars. You're like, oh, this is kind of cool, So
Definitely.
But I might go see it. I'm trying to think of what else is good. Oh, I saw RRR. It was real good, dude.
Was it?
Yeah, you got to sit through it though, because it's like the Hindi doesn't line up with the subtitles, and the English version doesn't sound very good.
Oh.
Not that I speak Hindi, but it's like real fast, and it's like
Yeah.
You got to kind of read it quickly and stuff like that. So.
I mean, I've heard nothing but good stuff about RRR.
But it's good. It's fun, dude. That's the other movie. Like they're all just running around, dancing, having a good time, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun time. But yeah, I'm trying. I read a couple of good. I read that other book not too long ago too. I finally finished it. It's called. I think I tried to send it to you, but you didn't like it because it was all about the French. It was that 100 Years War book. I was like, I think I told you the first, the main character was French. You're like, oh, I kind of root for the other side in that one.
The right side.
The other side.
Right side.
The invaders.
Hey, they had a claim.
So you don't deny it.
At least the English king didn't need to sign away 80% of his power to get the barons to support him.
I mean, not that war, but later. It happens to all the wars, dude.
He already did it.
He'd already, yeah. By that point, he'd already done it. Yeah. But I gotta break my notes out for that kind of discussion.
Oh man, we have to do that one day. So, I want to kind of give you an update, and with you, the audience, an update on where we are with a lot of things. So tomorrow, my reaction to the Mission Impossible trailer will come out, and I think it's great. I'm a huge fan of it. I cannot wait. Let's see, and then I've actually been told that I have to build all my Legos, so I'll be doing more Lego streams. Pilgrim, that's a great point. Dan, we should 100% do a history stream.
Yeah, I'd be down for sure. I mean, somebody throw a dart at the map. We can just talk about anything. I love it. And I would, if I don't know something about it, if we want to talk about Thailand's kingdom, I'll just dive into it.
Pilgrim, if you correct me on my use of Legos versus Lego again, the S in Legos is a callback to the original name of the company, the Lego system. So the S comes from system. It is correct, and you are wrong. But I love you, buddy. Okay. Video coming out tomorrow. The Curia Regis will likely be, for now, a bi-weekly stream, with the next one having a much cooler thumbnail. I've got a bunch of really great ideas, but I didn't have time to make the one today. But I think y'all are gonna love it. But with that, I think it is about time to end. Danny, you got anything you want to say?
Oh man, everybody be good to each other, pay it forward, tip your waitresses and waiters, and let people in traffic.
And always spay and neuter your pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't watch.
Oh, I know. Price is Right.
Right,
yeah. I wish I.
With that,
I wish I
thank
had.
you, everybody.